Good evening, day 2 in Bangkok, and no, I'm not on one of these bikes. I am off to Mae Klong Railway, where the train goes right through the market. So our journey started off here, which is at the start of the Mae Klong Railway, and you are not going to believe how close this train goes to the market. So here we are, waiting for the train, which will then take us straight through the market. And just like that, we were off. And I'm no train fanatic, but this was such an exciting experience going along in this old train. It clearly had been used for so long. It was so filthy at the top where you held the handles, and those ceiling fans were the only form of air conditioning. Anyway, the journey took us through some really lovely scenery, and it was quite difficult to believe that we were so close to Bangkok. And this was one of the stations, if you could call it that. It was more like a kind of bus shelter, and if I stuck my hand out of the train door, you would be able, or I would be able to touch it. There's another little glimpse of those handles there. So the further we went, you could see that a lot of the areas had been subject to flooding, and there was flooding in quite a lot of the houses, or the gardens of the houses along here. And as I said before, it was really difficult to remember that you were actually near to Bangkok. It was more like you were in the mountainous regions in Chiang Mai. And then our tour guide pointed out this interesting place, which is actually some salt lakes. It's a salt farm. Don't ask me how they make the salt, but that's what it is. Just look how close the train is going to the roofs of the houses, and any minute now we get to the market, and what a welcome it was, and how close were we to the people. Get ready for it. Station, and here is the train that goes all the way through the market. So we're going to wander down the market and then watch the train leave. It was an amazing train ride. I would recommend it. It goes so close to the market stalls, so close, and it's so busy. So you can see the train behind me and lots of people taking pictures, and the market is literally just there. So we're going to walk to the front and watch as it comes through. And it was crazy busy at that station and extremely touristy, but to give them their due, I got this trip from Get Your Guide, and they had said that it was extremely touristy. So I'm voiceovering this bit because you couldn't really hear me amongst all those people, but basically what I was saying is this is the market, and that is the train track, where any minute now the train has got to come all the way through. How on earth are all these people going to clear out the way? And how on earth are all these market stalls going to clear out the way in time and with enough room for that train to get through? It is just a crazy, crazy busy market, and a number of tourists here, and fresh vegetables and everything. I've never seen anything like it before. So in case you couldn't hear what I said just then, I was saying about how it's just crazy, crazy busy, and that I'd never seen anything like that before. And just look how quickly they can pull their awnings in and get all their produce out the way and the people out the way, ready for the train to come through. Just as quickly as they pulled everything out the way, everything just comes back again, and the market just continues with just so many people there, and everybody's back on the track again. So I'm just going to let you walk through the market with me without too much talking, but you can have a look at all the different types of stalls that they had, from food and fish to bags to gifts to strange insects framed in boxes that you will see a bit later on. But anyway, I'll let you walk through with me. Fast forward, and the next stop was a floating market. This is the biggest floating market in Bangkok, but it's also the most touristy. There are smaller ones that aren't so touristy, and I would have preferred to go to one of those, but I didn't have an awful lot of time, so I stuck with this one. So as you could see, the boat drove do you drive a boat? It drove quite quickly until you got to the area of the market, which was where some of the floating traders sort of plied their wares, if you like. And the boat drivers clearly had their favourite stalls. There's Spider-Man, or a man dressed as Spider-Man. My grandson might like him. Anyway, they clearly had their favourites because they pulled up at certain stalls and others they just sort of sailed past. So perhaps there's a bit of commission there. But again, I'll let you sort of sail through the market with me. also had street food type restaurants you could eat at. I'm now sitting here watching the boats and gonna have my tom yum soup, see what it's like. So thank you so much for watching and sticking with me still. I will be coming home soon, but I will be doing another few videos, one with questions and answers, one with Chiang Mai Sunday walking market and all of the street food, and finally my top tips for Thailand should you decide to go there. Thank you again, and keep warm everyone, and see you again soon. Bye.